Okay, so welcome, and now we're going to do another cosecant function, but this time we're going to add some shifts, okay? So in this case here, we have y equals 2 times the cosecant of pi over 2 times x plus 1. Now in this case here, we have no horizontal shift, which means there's no phase shift. So the phase shift is 0, okay? So that's one thing to keep in mind. But we are going to have a horizontal shift up 1 unit. Okay, so that's going to, again, that's going to affect where we put our dots for the minimum and maximum values of the cosecant function. Okay, a is 2, so let's write these things down. So a is 2, so there is no reflection here. So a is equal to 2, no reflection. Okay, b is equal to pi over 2. Which then implies that, okay, what's the period? The period is, again, 2 pi over the absolute value of b. And so that's going to be 2 pi over 2, which then gives us a period of 4. Okay? So that's going to be important. Phase shift, there is no phase shift. Okay? D is equal to 1. So it's a vertical shift up 1 unit. And so now we got to remember, again, where do the asymptotes occur? So again, asymptotes occur, because again, this is a reciprocal function, when the sine function is 0. So this will happen, so this will be undefined whenever this is 0. So when is this 0? Well, when x is 0, right? So that's an easy one. So I know that there's an asymptote at the x equals 0. Now, where's the next one? Well, the next one is going to be when this argument in here is pi. So when is this going to be equal to pi? When x is 2. So at x equals 2, there's going to be another asymptote. Okay, and so now we know the pattern, right? So now it's going to be every 2. Okay, that's all I need to do. Now, here's the other way. Again, there's more than one way to figure these out. So here's the thing. I know the period is 4. Okay? And so that means the asymptote will happen for every half of that, right? Because again, remember, 1 u is going to go up, 1 u is going to go down in the period. So one period, it has to repeat the pattern, right? Okay? So if the period is 4, and I know that one of the asymptotes is at 0, let's say, and then I know that every half of this will be an asymptote. So that means every 2. Okay, so you can get it that way as well. Okay, so you don't have to memorize the formula to find out where the asymptotes are. You just have to realize, you just have to understand how these work, right? That's the easiest thing. Just kind of, you don't have to memorize that, hey, this is going to happen at pi over the absolute value of b plus some multiple of that. Okay? For cosecant anyway. So all you have to do is remember, hey, this is the reciprocal, 1 over sine. I know that sine goes to 0 at all multiples of pi, right? And so that helps me work backwards and say, okay, well then I know this is undefined for all multiples of pi when the argument in here is a multiple of pi. And then I just work backwards, okay? And again, you only have to get the first one or the second one or use the period and then figure out the pattern and you're done. So now, at this point, now it's pretty much downhill because I just have to remember my shifts, right? And I just have to remember my A, right? Which is would give me the amplitude of the related sine function, right? Now, so if this was centered if the midline of my corresponding sine function was at 0, that would mean that my height of my sine function would go from 2 to negative 2. But since there's a vertical shift, that means it's going up 1. That means the height of my corresponding related sine function would be going up to what? It'd be going up to 3. And instead of negative 2, it would be going up to negative 1. Okay, so that's going to tell me where I'm going to put these. Now, also, since, again, there's no reflection and I'm dealing with sine starts at 0 and goes up, right? And it's not being reflected. So it's going to go up, which means the first one, let me write this out, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2. Okay, so the first one is going to be at 3, right? Because it's shifted up 1. So it's going to be at 3. And again, I'm always in the middle. My minimum value or maximum value is always going to be in the middle of the asymptotes. So that means that this is going to go up like that. And then the next one, it's going to go down. So now, again, this one's going to be at negative 1 because of the vertical shift, up 1 unit. So this is going to look like that. And that's all you really need to, again, they wanted 1 period, and that's it. So again, it's going to alternate back and forth just like that. Have a great day.